Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB and today is the 1st of June 2026. Now unfortunately, Satoshi, so far as the price of Bitcoin on the global cryptocurrency market is concerned, things have actually gone from bad to worse. And if you look at the market sentiment, right now it is still at fear. Now am I right in saying Satoshi because of geopolitics, and I'm talking about because we are not getting any update. The market is waiting for some clarity, and it is because of the uncertainty and lack of clarity, the prices of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies aren't reflecting positively.
That's absolutely right, George. The market sentiment is definitely still uncertain, and that lack of clarity is creating some headwinds for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi, and so far geopolitics is concerned, I do feel that President Donald Trump is definitely aiming for a positive negotiation with Iran, so let's see what the update to this is. Now look, guys, so far as United States of America is concerned, you should know that there's a lot of things that is happening under the Trump administration. You have a massive UFC event, I believe, on President Donald Trump's birthday. Then, Satoshi, we also have FIFA World Cup 2026, which kicks off from the 11th of June till the 19th of July 2026. And more importantly, on the 4th of July, there is also 250th anniversary of United States of America. Now, based on my understanding, Satoshi, as and when we get closer to these dates, I'm pretty much sure President Donald Trump will be making some huge announcements. And when that thing happens, I'm pretty much sure we'll be seeing some positive development in the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Now talking about the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, Satoshi, for some really interesting and positive reasons, Binance's market cap has picked up a lot of pace, and that is the only token that has been pumped up. And here's the thing, guys, later on today on the 1st of June, Binance will be revealing a product, and they've advertised today's day as mysterious product reveal. Now only because of that, Satoshi, the price of Binance BNB coin is pumped up, so really interesting development. And in today's episode, we'll definitely go and delve into this. Now, the first news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is a really interesting news. And what happened is, Satoshi, the US Department of Treasury, they did actually state because of Operation Economic Fury, what United States of America has done, they've actually seized roughly around $1 billion worth of cryptocurrencies from Iran. This, to be honest, is definitely a massive deal, isn't it? Now, look, Satoshi, a lot of stable coins, they can definitely be frozen. But here's the thing, Satoshi, roughly around 2 weeks ago, there was a bit of rumor going on that Iran, they're working on Bitcoin-backed insurance. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, this is terrible news not just for Bitcoin, specifically for Iran. Because look, what the United States of America will do is, they can easily go and sanctions a lot of these public addresses, isn't it? And that is until and unless there's a complete agreement between the United States of America and Iran. What's your opinion, Satoshi, regarding it?
Well, George, that's a significant development with the U.S. Department of Treasury seizing roughly $1 billion worth of cryptocurrencies from Iran. To address your point about sanctions, the U.S. government could potentially sanction specific public addresses leaked to that activity, making it very difficult for those entities to move or transact with those funds. That's a powerful tool in their arsenal for enforcing policy.
And later on in today's episode, we'll definitely delve deeper into this. Now the next is, Satoshi, is not a good news, and this is connected to Sui network, and unfortunately, guys, they did actually go offline once again. Now according to me, Satoshi, this is definitely not looking good, and if you look at the Sui token, it is kind of like one of the worst performing tokens at the moment. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go and delve into this, but the good news is, as of now, while we're recording the episode, looks like the blockchain is working fine. But news such as this is definitely not looking good, not just for Sui network, even for the broader blockchain ecosystem, to be completely honest. Now the third news, Satoshi, we're going to be talking about is regarding CFTC approval. And here's the thing, guys. Galshi, they have secured CFTC approval, and this is connected to Bitcoin perpetuals. So in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. Now the final news today, Satoshi, that we're going to be talking about is a really interesting news, and this is connected to Fort Knox and President Donald Trump. Satoshi did actually put out a really interesting post via Truth Social, and he wants to go ahead and audit Fort Knox. Now according to me, this is definitely a genius move, and in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. And how about, Satoshi, in today's episode, we'll also go ahead and discuss what role Bitcoin can actually play in this, because when you talk about Bitcoin, all of the transactions are publicly verifiable, isn't it?
That's absolutely right, George. Fort Knox's audit being proposed by President Trump is definitely a significant move. Later on in today's episode, George will definitely delve into this, and we'll go and discuss what role Bitcoin can actually play in this. Could it be possible gold? Could it be possible that Bitcoin becomes a reserve currency? Definitely interesting topic, isn't it?
It definitely would be interesting if Bitcoin does actually become a reserve currency, but the chances of that, Satoshi, according to me, is pretty much nil. But in today's episode, we'll definitely go ahead and delve into all of these points. So it looks like Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. And like we do in every Blockchain DXB podcast, guys, we will be looking at two news from Dubai, UAE and the Middle East. Now the first news, Satoshi, is a really interesting one. And this is connected to ADI chain. And the news is that IC is claiming that they've executed a landmark of $30 million DDSE transactions. And they have done it on ADI chain. So we'll definitely go ahead and delve into this. Now the second news, Satoshi, is going to be a really interesting one, where we are going to be discussing, does blockchain technology need artificial intelligence, or does artificial intelligence need blockchain technology? So what I thought in today's episode, Satoshi, why don't you and I go ahead and discuss, does blockchain need artificial intelligence, or does artificial intelligence need blockchain technology? Or can one of them operate without the other? Real interesting topic in my honest opinion. So it looks like, Satoshi, we have quite a lot of interesting things to cover in today's episode. But before we do that, a quick word from our sponsors. Hey everyone, this episode is powered by a new sponsor, that is Amana, and they are the region's first and fastest growing regulated all-in-one trading and investing app. So look, guys, whether you're looking into invest in US stocks like Apple or Tesla, or mega giants like ADNOC or Salik, Amana puts the financial markets on your fingertips. It includes gold, foreign exchange, ETFs, futures, commodities, and guess what, guys? They have over 375 cryptocurrencies, and this makes them the biggest crypto selection in the region. Now for the Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, if you want to go and build long-term wealth without thinking about it every day, explore Amana's pre-built auto investment plans, and all you have to do is set your monthly budget, choose your preferred asset category, and let Amana automate the investing for you. Zero fees, zero lockups, 100% customizable. And here's the thing, guys, funding your account is easier than ever. You can fund your account with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit cards, instant bank deposits, and even crypto wallets. No friction and no hassles. And the best part is, guys, let's say if you need support, you would absolutely love Amana for this, because they offer 24/6 human customer service, as well as a personalized sales support, real people, real help, and the customer support is in English as well as in Arabic. And for the Blockchain DXB listener and community, guys, I do have something really exclusive for you. What you can do is register with Amana using the code Blockchain DXB, or you can also use the link that is in the show notes below. And here's the best part, guys. Once you register, fund your account with a minimum of $100 and at least go ahead and make one trade, and then you'll receive a $100 trading bonus credit to your account the following month. But look, guys, it's real important to note, the bonus is non-withdrawable. It is there to help you trade and learn. So look, guys, if you're looking for a transparent, powerful and easy to use app, that's Amana for you. So what are you waiting for, guys? Download the app now, or you can also visit the website, that is amana.app, and don't forget to use the code Blockchain DXB. And Amana, guys, is all markets one app. Next, guys, I'm happy to announce that Blockchain DXB is the official media partner with one of the OGs in the cryptocurrency and blockchain event space, and that is Blockchain Futuristic Conference taking place in Florida this year, as well as ETH Women taking place simultaneously. And trust me, guys, this is an event that you don't want to miss, isn't it? Because for the very first time, North America's most immersive Web3 event is heading to the United States of America, and the Blockchain Futurist Conference and ETH Women event is actually taking place between the 5th and 6th of November. And the location is absolutely stunning, guys. It is taking place at Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, which is in Hollywood, Florida. That's right, guys. Palm trees, panels, and the biggest mind in blockchain and cryptocurrencies all in one place. So there will be multi-stage panels, NFT galleries, DeFi showcases, hand-on tech demos, metaverse experiences, even outdoor VIP cabanas, and quite a lot more. And the Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, guys, is one of the most iconic venues in the country. So look, guys, if you're in the Web3 space, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, or even artificial intelligence space, or just want to do some serious networking, this is the place that you got to be. And to all of you Blockchain DXB listeners, guys, we have something really interesting for you, because you can get a 25% off the tickets. So just use the code DXB25, and the link to the event as well as the code is in the show notes below. And as an official media partner, I'll be doing exclusive live coverage, interviews, behind the scenes access, and I will be spotlighting some of the most exciting projects shaping the future of decentralized finance tech. So if you're at the venue, guys, definitely come and say hi. Maybe we can catch up for a coffee as well. So listen, guys, the code is DXB25, and by using this code you will be eligible for a 25% discount. And the event is taking place between the 5th and 6th of November 2025 at the iconic Guitar Hotel at Hard Rock, that is in Hollywood, Florida. And in the show notes below, guys, there's all contact details for Blockchain Futuristic Conference Florida 2025, as well as ETH Women. And look, guys, this is the future of blockchain technology brought into life. So don't just read about it. Be there and head to the website, that is futuristconference.com, and go ahead and use the code DXB25. So see you at the event. Next, Advanced Media. Advanced Media, guys, is the largest distributor of professional video, photo, broadcast and cinematic equipment and accessories in the Middle East and MENA region. With over 2 decades of experience, Advanced Media is now the largest distributor in the Middle East, representing more than 100 recognizable brands, including brands such as Zeiss, DJI, Hasselblad, Red and Rode. As a matter of fact, guys, the very mic that I'm recording is being sponsored by Advanced Media as well, and Advanced Media has showrooms in Saudi Arabia and services as well. Looks like they're definitely taking the Middle East by storm. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they're taking corporate social responsibility very seriously, and they're focusing on 3 P's, that is people, planet and prosperity. Now listen, guys, if you do want to find out more information regarding the statement of corporate social responsibility, check out the website, that is www.amt.tv. And here's the beautiful thing, guys, they also want to be a leader and set an example and reputation as a pioneer and member of the community. And in doing so, guys, they also have an AMT scholarship with SAE Institute in Dubai, UAE. So definitely check it out. And also, guys, Advanced Media is committed to persistently developing, organizing and hosting training workshops, seminars and community events that educate, inform and familiarize consumers with new equipment and the latest technological advances. So listen, guys, do one thing. If you do want to support this channel, go to the website, that is www.amt.tv, and follow the social media channels as well. All of the details are in the show notes below. Next, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events, and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Pace Podcast. So check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Pace Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs, and these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen, guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform, check out the Race Pace Podcast across all leading platforms. And finally, guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now, guys, since you're taking care of that, let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's quickly run through the global cryptocurrency market. Now, unfortunately, guys, the global cryptocurrency market is down to $2.57 trillion. And here's the thing, guys. We are recording this episode in the early hours of Dubai. So technically, it is still Sunday in most of the Western countries. And what I'm really not liking, Satoshi, if you look at the cryptocurrency market volume, it is almost half of what it is on a regular day. It is only at $53.4 billion. And since the last 24 hours, this particular matrix is actually down by 0.60%. And one of the matrix which has gone from bad to worse, Satoshi, that is the volume of decentralized exchange. And the 24-hour volume of decentralized exchange is below the $5 billion mark. It is only at $4.81 billion. And if you look at the total fees connected for these transactions with $4.81 billion Satoshi is only $52.62 million. But here's the thing, Satoshi, one matrix which has gone from bad to worse, this is connected to total value locked. And since the last 24 hours, it is down to $80.16 billion. Now in 2025, Satoshi, the total value locked did actually bump up to $140 billion. So from $140 billion, it is almost down to 50% of it, isn't it? So it looks like a lot of businesses and investors, they are losing confidence in becoming validators for proof-of-stake tokens. Definitely unfortunate news. And along with that, one matrix which I'm not content with, this is to do with decentralized exchange dominance. And right now, that particular matrix is down to 22.79%. But it's going to be really interesting to see, Satoshi, with the Trump administration, if we do have any positive news. And according to me, Satoshi, am I right in saying, the moment we get concrete evidence regarding Operation Epic Fury, all of these numbers could drastically change in an instant. And more importantly, Satoshi, there's also FIFA World Cup, isn't it? So could it be possible in the next week or so, we might be getting some breaking and positive news?
Well, George, that potential breaking news about positive developments with Operation Epic Fury could definitely shake things up. And with the FIFA World Cup coming, that influx of tourism and spending could provide a significant economic boost to the U.S. economy. It's all connected. We'll have to see how both of those develop.
Absolutely correct, Satoshi. And what we'll do in the Blockchain DXB podcast, we'll definitely go ahead and update our listeners. Now, unfortunately, Satoshi, one matrix which does give a very strong indication as to which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is heading towards. This is about crypto ETF and outflows. Now, since the last trading day, which was last Friday, there's still significant amount of outflows in the world of crypto ETFs, and this is accounting to $112.4 million. Now, look, Satoshi, crypto outflows, they do give a very strong indication as to what the market sentiment is, and it does actually predict which direction the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is heading towards, isn't it? But it is also important to note, guys, we are looking at this particular matrix that was taken on Friday, because that was the last trading day. So let's see if this numbers drastically change on Mondays and Tuesdays.
We'll definitely keep our listeners updated on this, because those crypto outflows are a key indicator of investor sentiment. It shows a lack of confidence right now, but as you mentioned, we need to see how those numbers trend into Monday and Tuesday to get a clearer picture. The end of last week was definitely defined by bearish pressures.
And at the beginning of the episode, Satoshi, we talked about Binance BNB Coin, isn't it? And there's some really interesting news that is connected to Binance, and this is connected to ETF, guys. And the news essentially is that VanEck, they did officially launch their spot BNB ETF, and the ticker symbol for that, Satoshi, is VBNB. And because of that, Binance BNB Coin is the only token that is pumping up. It has actually crossed the $700 mark. And regarding the launch of this ETF, Satoshi, it did actually take place on the 20th of May. And only because of that, the price of Binance BNB Coin is pumping up. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding decentralized exchanges? So what I want you to do is, I want you to read out the matrix of the top 5 platforms in the world of decentralized exchanges.
Okay, those latest decentralized exchange volumes are interesting. For the top 5 platforms, we have PancakeSwap at $854.7 million, Uniswap at $812.03 million, Aerodrome at $368.31 million, BisonFi at $149.15 million, and Hyperliquid at $136.44 million.
Well, thank you so much for that, Satoshi. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at the volume of stable coins, the numbers are definitely not looking ideal. Ideally, Satoshi, this number should be at least 4 times of what it is. Unfortunately, Tether USDT's volume is only at $47.26 billion. Circular USDC, guys, is at number 2nd, and its 24-hour volume is below the $5 billion mark. It is only at $4.80 billion. And standing at number 3 is FDUSD, with a 24-hour volume of $119.23 million. Now, for our listener, Satoshi, what are the key metrics you suggest them to keep an eye on? Keeping in mind we have seen significant amount of outflows in the world of crypto ETFs, but as we talked about, these metrics were going back to last Friday, isn't it? So what recommendation that you have for our listeners? What are the key specific metrics they should be keeping an eye on?
You absolutely want to focus on a few key metrics. The crypto outflow volume from ETFs is crucial, as it shows market sentiment quite clearly. Also, keep a close eye on the price of Bitcoin and its behavior around key support levels. And don't forget to watch the 24-hour trading volume across the broader market. That indicates the real level of activity. Those should give you a good foundation.
Now, I'm so glad you talked about the 24-hour volume, Satoshi. According to me, definitely gives a very strong indication as to what the buyer sentiment is. So why don't you do one thing? Why don't you tell our listeners what the market cap of Bitcoin is, the 24-hour trading volume and dominance, and do the same thing for Ethereum and Binance BNB Coin for our listeners.
Certainly, George. Currently, Bitcoin's market cap is $1.47 trillion, with a 24-hour trading volume of $16.58 billion, and its dominance is at 57.40%. Ethereum's market cap is $241.01 billion, its 24-hour volume is $8.18 billion, and its dominance is 9.30%. And you're right, George. Binance BNB's market cap has indeed bumped up, now standing at $95.40 billion, with a $3.47 billion 24-hour volume, pushing its dominance to 3.70%.
That is absolutely correct, Satoshi. And since the last month or so, Binance BNB Coin's market cap was actually below the $90 billion mark, so it gives an assessment as to what happens when trillion-dollar companies, they get involved in ETF world, isn't it? And as we talked about Satoshi Vanek, they did officially announce Binance BNB Coin ETF, and this was done on the 28th of May 2026. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on in the world of privacy coins? And what I want you to do is, I also want you to read out the market cap of the top 5 platforms for our listeners, please.
You got it, George. Today, the privacy coin market cap is sitting at $29.9 billion, which is about a 1.2% decrease in the last 24 hours. As for the top platforms, Zcash has a market cap of $9.08 billion, Monero is at $6.78 billion, Chainlink is at $6.56 billion, Near Protocol is at $2.90 billion, and Humanity is at $709 million.
Well, thank you so much for that. And here's the thing, guys, if you look at Monero's market cap, today it is below Zcash's market cap. Now, here's the thing, Satoshi, prior to 2025, Monero's market cap so far as privacy coin is concerned was always at number 1. But here's the thing, it used to always hover around the $7 billion mark. Now, what did happen in October of 2025, Satoshi? The US Department of Justice, they did actually seize a lot of Bitcoin that was actually held by a lot of notorious people, and because of that, people started to pivot to Zcash. Now, what did happen on the third quarter of Zcash, Satoshi? The price of Zcash definitely picked up a lot of pace, and there was a bit of momentum and narrative building up regarding Zcash. But in December and January, the whole hype regarding Zcash has actually fallen down. But here's the thing, guys, since the last week, Zcash's market cap has actually picked up pace once again. Now, according to me, Satoshi, the reason is pretty simple. There are only selected individuals who are actually buying a lot of Zcash, and it is only because of those individuals buying a lot of Zcash, the market cap of Zcash has pumped up. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the future of privacy coins is. Now, based on my experience, I wouldn't be surprised if Monero throws Zcash of as market cap is concerned, and this would just be a matter of time in my honest opinion. But look, Satoshi, when we are looking at these factors, it is so important we also look at the finer details, and more importantly, it is so important to do our own research and identify why the prices are increasing, isn't it? But here's the thing, guys, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice. Make sure you go out and do your own research. Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners what is going on regarding the price of Bitcoin, what is going on since the last 24 hours, and also what is going on since the last 7 days, and do the same thing for Ethereum for our listeners, please.
Absolutely, George. Currently, Bitcoin's price is at $73,447, showing a slight decrease of 0.64% in the last 24 hours, and down 4.20% over the last week. For Ethereum, the price is currently $1,997, with a 1.40% decrease in the last day and down 4.84% in the last 7 days. That's the current landscape.
Well, thank you so much for that, guys. And if you look at Binance BNB Coin, it has crossed the $700 mark after a very, very long time. Right now, it is at $707. Now, here's the interesting thing, guys. Since the last 7 days, it is actually up by 8%. But since the last 24 hours, it is marginally down by 1.82%. Now, look, guys, the only reason why the price of Binance BNB Coin has picked up pace is because Vanek is officially launched a spot BNB ETF, and this was done on the 28th of May 2026. And today, that is the 1st of June, they will be revealing something called as mysterious product, and only because of that, the prices of Binance BNB Coin has picked up a lot of pace. But here's the interesting thing to remember, guys. Even if you look at the ecosystem, looks like Binance BNB chain has also reached a new milestone. And if you actually look at the Explorer Satoshi, Binance BNB chain recently hit the $13 billion transaction milestone. Now this definitely shows a lot of robust network activity, isn't it? Considering the fact if you look at Sui network, which did go completely belly up, and we'll definitely go ahead and delve into that. Now, based on my understanding, Satoshi, the moment the mystery product is revealed, do you anticipate the process to continue picking up pace, or do you think it's going to fall down immediately? What is your take regarding it? But it is important for our listeners to know, whatever we are saying is definitely not financial advice, okay? Make sure you go and do your own research. Now, what is your idea, Satoshi, regarding the price after the mystery reveal today? Do you anticipate positive development regarding the price of Binance being Bitcoin, or do you think it is heading towards a downward direction?
That robust network activity on the Binance BNB chain is definitely impressive, hitting that 13 billion transaction milestone. Now, regarding your question about the mystery product launch and its effect on the price, it really depends on how valuable or innovative the market perceives it to be. If it meets expectations, you could see the price continue to climb. However, there's always the chance of a sell-off after the announcement as traders take profits. It's difficult to predict with certainty. And just to reiterate what you mentioned, this isn't financial advice. Everyone should do their own research.
Absolutely correct, Satoshi. Now let's do one thing. Let's go ahead and discuss a real interesting news. And this is connected to the US Department of Treasury. And here's the thing, guys. They are saying that they have seized nearly $1 billion in cryptocurrencies that are linked to Iran. And this particular seizure was done as part of efforts to disrupt the country's financial network. And that is one of the reasons, guys. Scott Bessent is calling it as Operation Economic Fury. Now, there are different sources for this, Satoshi. Bitcoin Magazine has published an article. Yahoo News has published an article. CNN has published an article, but more importantly, the US Department of Treasury, they have also put out a post, but this post was actually put out roughly around a few weeks ago. But it is important to note, Satoshi, regarding Operation Economic Fury, a major action included freezing $344 million in USDT on Tron blockchain, and this was done after authorities identified wallets allegedly connected to Iran's Revolutionary Guard and also the central bank. And US officials, Satoshi, are saying that Iran has increasingly used cryptocurrencies to bypass sanctions, support international trade, and move funds outside traditional banking system. Now look, this crackdown is part of a wider economic campaign, and looks like the United States of America, they are targeting Iran's financial lifelines, and they are doing that with over 1,000 Iran-linked entities already sanctioned by US authorities. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, this is a genius move if you want to pressurize the Iran to go and agree to terms and conditions, isn't it? And that is one of the reasons why, Satoshi, I feel, probably in a week's time or so, we might be getting 100% confirmation regarding what is going on regarding Operation Epic Fury. Now look, President Donald Trump, Satoshi, even wants Iran to be part of Abraham Accords, and if that thing happens, I do feel it'll be great not just for the United States of America, it'll be great for the Middle East, and more importantly, Satoshi, it'll be great for Iran economy as well, isn't it? So why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners, because of this pressure by the US Department of Treasury, where they have seized nearly $1 billion in cryptocurrencies, where they're forcing Iran to go out and sort out an agreement, and more importantly, join the Abraham Accords, what positive developments do you think it'll have in the Middle East? And more importantly, how do you think news such as this impacts the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
Well, George, this action from the U.S. Department of Treasury seizing roughly $1 billion in crypto linked to Iran is a major move in what's been dubbed Operation Economic Fury. It clearly aims to disrupt their financial network and put pressure on them to adhere to international standards. It's interesting to note that this action reportedly froze $344 million in USDT on the Tron blockchain, demonstrating the role of specific blockchain technologies in these operations. The broader impact on the market likely creates more uncertainty as traders assess the potential for further sanctions or disruptions, but it also highlights the increasing difficulty nation-states face in using cryptocurrencies to evade sanctions when major powers are watching.
Now, what about, Satoshi, if Iran does actually go out and join the Abraham Accords? What kind of positive developments do you think it'll have in the Middle East? And more importantly, how do you think it'll impact Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies?
If Iran were to join the Abraham Accords, it could potentially lead to decreased tensions in the region, fostering more stability and economic cooperation. That reduced risk could make the Middle East a more attractive destination for investment and push forward projects that have been stalled. Regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, increased regional stability generally improves investor confidence on a global scale, potentially leading to more capital flowing into the asset class. It could also encourage countries to explore digital currencies for trade settlement in a more harmonious environment. So it's a situation where decreased political friction could create a positive climate for innovative finance.
Now, it's going to be really interesting to see, guys, what the outcome to this is. Now, let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and pivot to the next news. Now this is an unfortunate news that is connected to Sui network. Now what did happen, Satoshi, on the 20th of May? Sui network did actually go down by 5 hours. Now it is important to note, guys, this particular outage on the 28th of May did actually come just few months after the firm repaired a similar network stall, which did actually happen in January, and at that point of time, Satoshi, it did actually lead Sui network to be down for roughly around 6 hours. Definitely unfortunate news, isn't it? Now regarding the recent issue, it was actually caused because of an interaction between 1.72 upgrade and also gas charging logic, and this did actually trigger a repeated temporary halt before a permanent fix was deployed, and this was actually done by the validators. Now here's the important bit, Satoshi, a previous interim fix did actually restore the network, but it had a low probability, and that bug contributed to instability until it was fully resolved. Now unfortunately, Satoshi, because of that, if you look at Sui network, it is kind of like one of the worst performing tokens since the last few days. Definitely unfortunate news, isn't it? Now what I'd really recommend our listeners to do is go ahead and follow Sui network via X, and what they have actually said by the final post is that the network is now back online with transactions running smoothly. Definitely unfortunate news, isn't it? Now what I want to do is, Satoshi, I want to go ahead and discuss next news, and this is connected to CFTC. Now one of the reasons why this news is so important, Satoshi, is because in the episode that we released last week, we did actually talk about President Donald Trump. He wanted CFTC to be in charge of quite a lot of things, and this news is connected to what President Donald Trump has been saying. And under the Trump administration, guys, the CFTC as well as US Security and Exchange Commission, they are taking a positive stance regarding Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So this particular news is not surprising at all. And the news, Satoshi, is that the CFTC, that is the US Commodity Future Trading Commission, they have actually approached Kashi to list the Bitcoin perpetual contract, and the ticker symbol for that is BTCPERP. And essentially it is a perpetual future product that tracks the spot price of Bitcoin. Now the approval, guys, was issued under the Commodity Exchange Act after the commission confirmed the contract complies with federal trading rules and exchange core principles, and the order, guys, requires Kalshi to keep contract fully compliant with all applicable regulations and notes that perpetual contracts may be suitable for all asset types. Definitely great news. Now for our listeners, Satoshi, can you explain at a very basic level what is a Bitcoin perpetual contract?
So at its basic level, a Bitcoin perpetual contract is a type of derivative where you can speculate on the price of Bitcoin without actually owning it. And unlike traditional futures, it doesn't have an expiration date. Thanks to the CFTC approval under President Trump, this development allows more regulated exchange-traded products, which brings benefits like increased legitimacy to the market, potentially deeper liquidity from institutional investors, and more structured ways for participants to manage risk. It's part of broadening access.
Are there any drawbacks of such particular moves, Satoshi, by the CFTC? Let's say if you're a massive advocate of Bitcoin, do they see any drawbacks of this particular approval?
Some big advocates might see potential drawbacks, mainly that increased regulation could move Bitcoin further away from its original decentralized ethos and towards a more traditional centralized system. There's also the concern that large institutions could gain too much influence over the market, potentially impacting price movements or development priorities. Some might even worry about added barriers to entry for smaller retail participants. It highlights the difference in vision.
What you're saying does make a lot of sense, Satoshi. It's going to be really interesting to see how the industry reacts to this particular move. Now let's go and discuss the final news for today, Satoshi. And look, as according to me, if this is taken seriously, it could potentially change the whole history of finance. Now President Donald Trump, Satoshi, via Truth Social, did actually put out a post, and that post actually said time to physically audit Fort Knox. Now here's the interesting thing, guys. The reason he said this is pretty simple. He linked the call to the arrest of ex-CIA official, that is David Rush, and the officials were claiming that they steal a lot. And more importantly, guys, it is high time that Americans need proof of the reserves that are intact. And according to me, am I right in saying, Satoshi, a formal audit announcement could actually draw significant attention to gold-backed monetary discussions. So why don't you tell our listeners what is the significance of this physical audit, and then we'll go and discuss where does Bitcoin actually fit into this?
Well, George, this move by President Trump calling for a physical audit of Fort Knox is truly bold and could fundamentally force a reevaluation of global finance. By linking this to concerns about transparency and accountability, he's addressing a foundational distrust that many people feel. And honestly, that level of leadership in demanding answers is precisely what a system that values stability requires. A formal audit could definitely spark serious discussions about returning to more physically backed monetary systems, like gold, shifting conversations from speculative policies to tangible assets.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi. Now why don't you tell our listeners what would happen, let's say, if the audit says there is no gold as it is promised? What do you think are the dangers because of that?
Well, George, if an audit revealed there's no gold, that would likely trigger a catastrophic loss of confidence in the US dollar and global financial markets. It could lead to hyperinflation, economic collapse, and significant social unrest as the value of wealth evaporates instantly. The geopolitical ramifications would be just as severe, destabilizing alliances and potentially causing global conflicts.
Now, if you're an advisor to President Donald Trump Satoshi, what advice would you like to give him? Would you advise him to go and do the audit, or would you suggest him to hold back?
I would suggest extreme caution. While the call for transparency is understandable, the risks of exposing a potential shortfall are too great. The resulting market panic could be far more damaging than any perceived lack of audit. I'd suggest focusing on strengthening economic policies elsewhere and ensuring confidence through less risky means.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Satoshi, because look, the risk of this audit is massive, isn't it? But the big question is, where does Bitcoin actually fit into this? Now, am I right in saying, Satoshi, Bitcoin, because it operates on a transparent, publicly verifiable ledger, where absolutely anyone can independently verify supply and transactions in real time, makes it much better than gold, because when you talk about gold, no one knows if the gold does actually remain in reserves, isn't it? And when you talk about Bitcoin, Satoshi, am I right in saying it also allows instant global transfers? And more importantly, they do that without relying on centralized custody or government storage systems. And this, Satoshi, reduces trust and, more importantly, counterparty risk as well, isn't it?
You bring up a crucial point, George. Because Bitcoin operates on that transparent public ledger, anyone can verify supply and transactions, which fundamentally contrasts with the opacity of gold or traditional reserves. That makes it arguably superior for trust and verifiability. To pick up on what I was saying earlier, this transparency also enables fast, permissionless global transfers without relying on central banks or government storage, reducing counterparty risk and enhancing security. It's why many see Bitcoin as a new paradigm for value.
You're absolutely correct, Satoshi, and it's going to be really interesting to see what role can Bitcoin actually play in the new monetary system. Now, according to me, Satoshi, President Donald Trump does actually decide to go and do the audit. It would be an absolutely catastrophic event. Maybe Bitcoin could eventually turn out to be a breakthrough moment. Definitely interesting news to keep an eye on. So look, guys, these are some macro level news on the Bitcoin blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go and look at two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. And the first news, Satoshi, is connected to ADI chain. And the news is that IHC, they have successfully completed $30 million, which is roughly on 110 million dirham worth of transactions. And they've done that using DDSC stablecoin and ADI chain. Now these transactions, Satoshi, is considered as a major milestone for DDSC stablecoin ecosystem. And so far as DDSC is concerned, guys, they did recently receive approval from the UAE Central Bank. And so far as DDSC is concerned, guys, it is essentially a stablecoin that is backed by the UAE dirham, and they provide price stability. And so far as DDSC is concerned, guys, it was launched through a partnership between IHC, Fab Bank, and Sirius International Holdings. And so far as IDI chain is concerned, they are the ecosystem that provides blockchain infrastructure that is powered by DDSC. Now, so far as the transaction is concerned, Satoshi, the U transaction proved that the system is ready for real-world institutional use, and it does demonstrate that the network can handle large-scale financial transactions. Now, DDSC, guys, they aiming to support secure and efficient payment across global markets. And so far as the platform is concerned, guys, the platform can be used for cross-border payments and money transfers. And more importantly, it can also support treasury management and trade settlements. And so far as the technology is concerned, guys, they're claiming to offer a faster alternative to traditional payment systems. And the aim is to reduce costs associated with international transactions. And so far as the system is concerned, the system, guys, provides greater transparency and compliance for users. And look, guys, right now there's growing demand for digital payment solutions that has helped drive a lot of this business development, isn't it? And the CEO of IHC, that is Syed Basar Sueb, did actually say the transaction showed the UAE digital infrastructure is operational and resilient. And so far as the next phase is concerned, guys, it will focus on attracting more institutional and expanding use cases. So look, Satoshi, this particular news does actually strengthen UAE's position as a global leader in blockchain technology and asset innovation, isn't it? Definitely brilliant news. Now what I want to do is, Satoshi, I want to go ahead and discuss next news. And what I essentially want to do is, Satoshi, I want to have a podcast series. And the topic is pretty simple, Satoshi. Does blockchain technology need artificial intelligence, or does artificial intelligence need blockchain technology? So why don't we do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't we go ahead and kickstart by talking about areas where blockchain technology needs artificial intelligence, okay? So do you want to go ahead and lead the conversation where blockchain needs artificial intelligence?
Sure, George. Let me go ahead and tell you areas where blockchain technology needs artificial intelligence. You know, AI can really detect suspicious transactions and financial fraud faster than humans can, which is a big deal for security. And it can monitor blockchain networks for security threats in real time, adding an extra layer of defense. It can also optimize transaction routing and improve network efficiency, just making things run smoother. Plus, it can automate smart contract auditing and vulnerability detection before anything goes wrong. Then there's AI analyzing on-chain data to identify emerging market trends, which could be really valuable for insights, and point out potential hacks and cyber attacks before they happen. AI is also set to improve DeFi risk management and lending decisions, helping people make better choices, and even help blockchain networks scale through resource optimization. It can enhance crypto trading strategies using predictive analytics, simplify compliance and regulatory reporting, and connect, analyze, and interpret data across different blockchains. Finally, it'll improve user experience through intelligent automation tools.
Now, according to me, Satoshi, the last one that you said is probably the most important area where I do feel artificial intelligence could actually be a game changer. Because look, when you talk about blockchain technology, the user experience is absolutely horrendous, isn't it? You remember the whole hype regarding metaverse? A lot of the user experience in the so-called platform called as Decentraland, and also decentralized finance in particular, is still absolutely horrendous. So if somehow, some way, if AI can go ahead and change the user experience, according to me, it'll be a pivotal step. And who's to say blockchain technology could actually become mainstream? Now, why don't you do one thing, Satoshi? Why don't you tell our listeners areas where artificial intelligence need blockchain technology? Now, look, based on my honest experience, Satoshi, there are very limited use cases where artificial intelligence need blockchain technology. But why don't you go and tell our listeners areas where artificial intelligence need blockchain technology? Because here's the thing, Satoshi, I hate saying this, but I do feel that artificial intelligence would actually work much better in a centralized world. But why don't I go ahead and hear your thoughts regarding it? Go.
Interesting point about the user experience, George. It's true that making these systems more intuitive could really help with wider adoption. Now, regarding areas where AI needs blockchain can verify AI-generated content authenticity and provenance, which is key for building trust. It can create tamper-proof records of AI decisions made, provide secure digital identities for autonomous AI agents, and prove ownership of AI models and intellectual property. It can track training data origins and quality, enable trusted autonomous AI-to-AI financial transactions, provide transparent payment systems for AI services, support decentralized AI networks without central authorities, improve transparency around AI model training processes, create permanent audit trails for regulatory compliance, ensure fair attribution and compensation for contributors, and enable decentralized marketplaces for AI, data, and computing power.
Now, one of these points, Satoshi, that you said on paper definitely sounds great, but in reality, look, Satoshi, when you talk about blockchain technology, there's still the blockchain trilemma problem. Now, surprisingly, Satoshi, you missed out the most important areas where I do think AI needs blockchain technology, and I'm talking about more in terms of cryptocurrencies. What if there are subscriptions? According to me, the only area where AI needs blockchain technology is, let's say if a customer wants to go out and make a payment, rather than making payments, let's say through fiat currency, maybe blockchain technology gives an option to go out and pay it, let's say in Bitcoin, maybe stablecoin or other cryptocurrency. That's about all in my honest opinion, Satoshi. Because look, when you talk about blockchain trilemma problem, you need to understand what the blockchain trilemma problem is, and this is where the debate series kicks in, where I go out and have a healthy discussion with CEOs, tech founders, both from the blockchain as well as AI industry.
That's a really practical point, George, about payments and subscriptions using cryptocurrencies as a key integration. And you're right about the blockchain trilemma. Balancing security, decentralization, and scalability is a constant challenge. Hosting debates with industry leaders sounds like a great way to explore those trade-offs and find solutions.
Now look, Satoshi, according to me, this is definitely a topic where the industry needs to evolve around. So that's one of the reasons why I'm starting this debate series. But thank you so much for the valuable insights. So these were the macro level newscasts in the Bitcoin, blockchain, cryptocurrency, and artificial intelligence world from Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, share the word across. Now let's do one thing, Satoshi. Let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So let's go ahead and kickstart with the Ask Me Anything series, alright?
Sure, George. Let's go ahead and kickstart the Ask Me Anything series. I'm curious to check what questions listeners have in store for us. Hey everyone, this is Satoshi from the Blockchain DXB podcast. where you can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, metaverse. And we have a question from Rachel who asks, would you trust Bitcoin's transparent blockchain more than physical gold reserves that require audits?
The answer to that is definitely yes, Satoshi, isn't it? And here's the thing, guys. You do not require any permission to go and audit any of these transactions. All of these transactions are publicly verifiable for absolutely anyone to go and check it. And when you talk about pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain, Satoshi, it is so important to understand that there are certain pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain. Now, mind you guys, I've said this thing probably hundreds of thousands of times. In order to truly understand Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and open blockchain, you truly need to understand the pillars of open blockchain. And these pillars, Satoshi, is popularized by Andreas Antonopoulos. And the first pillar, Rachel, is open source. And here's the thing, guys. All of the source code of Bitcoin and open blockchain is open source. So absolutely anyone can go and check it. And the last pillar actually is publicly verifiable, where all of the transactions are publicly verifiable for absolutely anyone to go and check it. Now, these two pillars does actually answer your question. And according to me, Satoshi, the answer to that is pretty simple. And yes, I would definitely trust Bitcoin's transparent blockchain more than physical gold reserve that requires audit. But here's the thing, guys. Historically, if you look at it, gold is proven to be a safe haven against war, even during times of inflation, isn't it? And we're talking about 1,000 years worth of backing history. But when you talk about Bitcoin, it is barely little more than a decade old, isn't it? So what I'd really recommend you, Rachel, and for our listeners to do is go ahead and understand what the pillars of Bitcoin and open blockchain are. Now, we talked about two, that is open source and publicly verifiable. Now, the next pillar is also important, Satoshi, that is permissionless, censorship resistant, borderless, as well as neutral. And that is what makes Bitcoin so unique. And there is no way you can actually compare to gold as well as in its Satoshi.
Exactly, George. The public verifiability is a game changer, allowing anyone to audit the ledger without needing permission. You covered the main pillars well, highlighting open source and public verifiability, which Rachel might find more reassuring than physical gold reserves. It also really puts emphasis on those other key qualities: permissionless, censorship-resistant, borderless, and neutral. While the track record of gold as a safe haven in crises is long, the transparent nature of Bitcoin presents a totally different type of security.
And that is one of the reasons why Satoshi Kevin Walsh, who is the new chair of the Federal Reserve Board, did actually say that Bitcoin is the new digital gold, and according to me is 100% right. And under the Trump administration, Satoshi, looks like the United States of America wants to go and make Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies great again. So it's going to be real interesting to see if the audit regarding Fort Knox is actually done by the Trump administration. Now look, Satoshi, this audit definitely sounds bold, but there are a lot of risks that are associated with the audit of Fort Knox as well as in it. So it's going to be really interesting to see if President Donald Trump is actually bold enough to go and do the audit. Now look, Satoshi, according to me, the only person who can go and change the financial history of humanity right now is President Donald Trump, because he's the only bold person to actually go and do that. Now I'm hoping, Satoshi, President Donald Trump does decide to go and do the audit, that there is actual physical gold as mentioned in the audit, because let's say if there is no gold, things would be absolutely catastrophic, isn't it? It'll definitely be great for Bitcoin, but let's say if we find out that there's less gold than the audit, things will be absolutely catastrophic for US economy and for the entire world as well as in it. But that thing being said, a lot of Bitcoin advocates, they will definitely be pushing for that, isn't it?
You're bringing up some really fascinating geopolitical angles, George. Seeing Kevin Walsh call Bitcoin digital gold and thinking about potential audits of Fort Knox under a Trump administration highlights how the traditional financial world is taking notice. You're right, the risk of not finding enough gold could be huge. It could shake global trust in the dollar, which paradoxically might drive more people to Bitcoin as a truly transparent alternative. It definitely promises some bold developments.
So it's going to be really interesting to see how President Donald Trump does actually decide to go out and do a physical audit. Really interesting times ahead. And thank you so much for this question, Rachel. And that's about all, guys, from the Asking Anything series on Blockchain DXB. In case if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. Remember, Monday to Thursdays, we have Blockchain DXB podcast. We look at the process. We look at the latest technological development. We talk about geopolitical news. Politics and politicians, guys, they definitely have a massive impact, not just on the price, even in the future and the trajectory of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We talk about different partnerships. Then, guys, you look at two news from Dubai, UAE, and the Middle East. We look at the latest technological development. Artificial intelligence is definitely a hot topic in the Middle East. And what you're listening to right now, guys, is the Ask Me Anything series, where your listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and metaverse. So thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.